Let me paint a picture for you. You're connecting with a woman, and it feels like everything is just clicking. The dates are incredible, the conversations flow without effort, and the chemistry between you is undeniable. You can feel her getting closer, and you start to get that beautiful, slightly terrifying feeling that something real is actually starting to build here. And then it happens. It's like a switch is flipped. The entire energy between you shifts abruptly. Her texts, once frequent and warm, begin to slow down. Suddenly, she's busy. That warmth you felt is gone, replaced by a confusing coldness. And you're left completely lost, replaying every single interaction, every word, asking yourself one tormenting question: what on earth did I do wrong? Now, in this exact moment, most guys fall into one of two traps. They either panic and start to chase, sending a flood of texts to try and fix whatever they think they broke, or they get angry and pull back completely, writing the whole thing off as a loss. Both of these reactions come from a place of confusion and anxiety, and both almost guarantee that you will lose her for good. But what if I told you that her pushing you away, this sudden, confusing distance, is often a powerful, yet misunderstood signal that she's genuinely, deeply interested in you? What if her pulling back has nothing to do with you doing something wrong, and everything to do with the intensity of what she's starting to feel for you? It sounds like a paradox, a contradiction that defies all logic. But human connection isn't always logical. It's emotional. It's primal. And for the most part, it is deeply misunderstood. In this conversation, we're going to break down what's really going on with this maddeningly common dynamic. We're going to explore the hidden psychological reasons why someone might create space at the exact moment they start wanting you the most. And more importantly, I'm going to give you a practical, step-by-step playbook on how to navigate her mixed signals, not with panic or anger, but with a calm, centered strength that doesn't just prevent you from losing her, but actually deepens her attraction and respect for you. This is about understanding the test you don't even know you're in, and passing it with a quiet confidence that pulls her back. Not because you chased her, but because you proved you were the man she was hoping you'd be. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn will give you a powerful new lens to see her behavior, and your own power within this whole dynamic. Section 1. The anatomy of the pullaway. Before we can get to the why, we really have to sit with the what. We have to validate this experience, because if you're here, you know just how disorienting this is. It's a specific kind of emotional whiplash. One day, she's laughing at all your jokes, texting you good morning, and sharing personal parts of her life. Her energy is all in, engaged, open. You feel seen, you feel wanted. The connection feels like it's on a steady, upward climb. Then, seemingly overnight, the climate changes. Her replies get shorter, taking hours or even a day to arrive when they used to be almost instant. Those playful emojis she used, they vanish. When you suggest getting together, she's suddenly swamped with work or needs a rain check. There's no big fight, no dramatic blow-up. It's just a slow, quiet fade, a subtle but unmistakable withdrawal of energy. It feels like a light switch has been dimmed, and you're just left standing in a half-lit room, wondering what just happened. The immediate reaction for most men is to turn inward and start the self-blame. Was it something I said? Did I come on too strong? Was I not interesting enough? Your mind becomes a courtroom where you're both the prosecutor and the defendant, endlessly searching for the crime you must have committed. And that self-doubt, it's poison. It eats away at your confidence and throws you into a state of panic. You feel this desperate urge to close the distance she's just created. You want to text her, call her, get a clear answer, anything to solve the problem and get back to that comfortable, warm connection you had just days before. This feeling is a primal response to a perceived threat of loss. When someone we're starting to care about withdraws, it triggers a deep-seated fear of rejection in our nervous system. This isn't just in your head. It's a biological response. Her distance feels like a direct reflection of your value. If she's pulling away, your brain tells you, it must be because you're not valuable enough. But this is where we get it fundamentally wrong. Her pulling away is rarely a logical assessment of your worth. It's almost always an emotional reaction to her own internal world. The distance she creates isn't really about you at all. It's about her. It's a space she might need to process feelings that are becoming far more intense than she was ready for. Seeing it this way, looking beyond the surface, is the first, most crucial step. The confusion you feel is real. The anxiety is valid. But it's leading you to the wrong conclusion. So let's explore the real reasons she's creating this space, so you can stop blaming yourself and start understanding what's truly going on. Section 2. The fear of getting closer. Alright, so let's get to the heart of it. Often, this pull-away isn't a manipulative game, but a subconscious, self-protective instinct. One of the biggest drivers is an overwhelming fear of vulnerability. True intimacy is built on the act of allowing yourself to be truly seen, flaws, and all. For many people, especially those who've been hurt in the past, this is the single most terrifying thing in the world. As genuine feelings develop, the stakes get much, much higher. The thought of you becomes a source of real happiness, and with that comes real risk. If a woman has a history of being let down, her subconscious has learned that vulnerability leads to pain. The very moment she feels herself becoming truly vulnerable, the moment she realizes you now have the power to hurt her, an internal alarm screams. Pushing you away becomes a preemptive strike to reclaim control. Her distance isn't a rejection of you, it's a retreat from her own emotional exposure. She likes you so much that it's actually starting to scare her. This goes even deeper when you consider the unconscious echoes of past relationships. Our earliest experiences with love create a blueprint for what we expect as adults. If someone grew up with emotionally inconsistent parents, they might develop an anxious attachment style, learning that love is unpredictable. As an adult, their fear of abandonment can become so intense that they push a new partner away, subconsciously testing to see if this person will leave too. On the other hand, if their caregivers were distant, they may have an avoidant attachment style, learning that independence is survival. For them, emotional closeness feels suffocating. When a connection gets too intimate, their core instinct is to pull away to preserve their self-sufficiency. These are not conscious decisions. She might not even be able to explain why she feels distant. All she knows is that she has an overwhelming urge to create space. Section 3. The intensity test. Sometimes the reason is simpler, though no less powerful. Falling for someone is an intense emotional experience. It's a literal chemical flood of dopamine and oxytocin in the brain. For someone who is highly in tune with her emotions, or perhaps just not used to feeling them so strongly, this rush can be incredibly overwhelming. One day she's living her life in control, and the next she can't stop thinking about you. For a guy, this feels like a win. But for her, it can feel like a loss of control. Pushing you away is her attempt to get her footing back, an emotional timeout to process what she's feeling. This isn't a sign that she's losing interest. On the contrary, it's a sign her interest has grown to a level that demands serious introspection. It's like a circuit breaker, tripping, to prevent the whole system from getting damaged. Now we're getting into primal territory. This pull-away also acts as an unconscious test of your strength. On a deep biological level, women are drawn to emotional strength in men, stability, resilience, the quality of being an unshakable rock. When a woman pulls away, her action serves as a test. How will you respond? Will you crumble and become anxious, needy, and demanding? Will you get angry? All of those reactions signal emotional weakness. They communicate that your emotional state is entirely dependent on her validation. A man whose happiness is contingent on a woman's constant approval is not a rock she can lean on. Conversely, when you respond with calm, unbothered confidence, you pass the test with flying colors. You demonstrate immense emotional strength, and your calm becomes a magnetic force that pulls her back in. Section 4. The leadership vacuum. This final reason ties all the others together. Feminine energy, by its nature, wants to be led by a strong, grounded masculine energy. When a woman pulls back, she creates a vacuum in the dynamic. She has stopped providing the forward momentum. In a sense, she is relinquishing the lead and waiting to see what you will do with it. A reactive man will try to force the old dynamic back into place. He'll chase, he'll plead, and he'll try to drag her back to where things were. He's trying to get her to lead again, to reassure him and make him feel secure. A centered man, however, understands it's now his turn to lead, but not by chasing. He leads by being the leader of his own life. He doesn't chase her. He continues moving forward on his own path, his career, his fitness, his passions. He doesn't abandon her, but he doesn't pause his entire life to wait for her either. He might send a simple, non-needy text after a few days, something like, "Hey, was thinking about that funny story you told me. Hope you're having a great week." Notice how that text doesn't ask for anything. It's a simple, confident gesture that says, "I'm still here, I think of you warmly, and I am not bothered by the space between us." This is the highest form of taking the lead. You are leading yourself, and that creates an incredibly attractive pull. It allows her the space to relax and resolve her internal conflicts without the added pressure of managing your anxiety. And when she has, the safest and most attractive place for her to return is to the man who remained a calm, steady force throughout it all. Section 5. Absolute calm and relentless purpose. So, understanding the why is only half the battle. Now we get to the how. How do you actually behave when you feel her pulling away? The first and most critical rule is also the hardest one to follow. When you first sense her pulling away, you must do nothing. Absolutely nothing. Don't increase your text frequency. Don't call to check in. And please, do not send the dreaded, "Is everything okay?" message. This inaction is not passive. It's an incredibly powerful choice. It's a declaration of confidence. It says, "I am secure in myself and my life, and I'm not fazed by this temporary shift." She has created a small storm with her withdrawal. She's watching to see if you'll get swept up in it, or if you'll be the lighthouse. Be the lighthouse. While you are strategically doing nothing in relation to her, you should be doing everything in relation to yourself. Think of her pulling away as a gift, a sign from the universe to get back to your own mission. This is the time to double down on what makes you a high-value man. Where has your focus slipped? Have you been skipping the gym to wait for her texts? Correct it. Now, go have the best workout of your life. Make serious progress on your most important project. Reconnect with your friends. Fill your own life with so much purpose that you genuinely don't have the time to sit around and worry about her. This isn't about pretending to be busy. It's about actually being busy, building your own empire. A man who is passionate and focused on his purpose is magnetic. Your job now is to get back to being that man, but on an even higher level. Section 6. The art of re-engagement. After a few days of respectful silence, you can consider re-engaging. But how you do it is critical. The rule here is to match and mirror her level of investment. In other words, let her set the tempo. If she's sending short, one-word answers, you send short, positive answers back. If she takes 5 hours to reply, you take 5 hours or more. You're not doing this to play a game or to punish her. You're doing it to show that you're socially intelligent and you're not going to overwhelm her with energy she clearly isn't ready for. However, you always do it with a slight positive skew. Your energy should always be light, fun, and unbothered. If she finally texts back after a day with just, "Hey," don't reply with "Where have you been?" Instead, wait a few hours and reply with something simple and positive like, "Hey, hope you're crushing it this week." It's calm, it's positive, and it asks for nothing in return. At some point, you may want to more actively gauge where her interest is. The wrong way to do this is with a confrontation like, "We need to talk." The right way is to use a low-investment, no-pressure feeler text. This is usually a fun, casual, and specific invitation with a tone that is completely detached from the outcome. For example, "Hey, my favorite band is playing at that bar we talked about next Thursday. Thought it would be fun. Let me know if you'd like to join. This text is perfect. It's specific, it's low pressure, and it gauges her interest. If she says, yes, I'd love to, she's back in. If she gives a vague answer like, oh, I'll let you know, that is your answer. The answer is no. Don't push. You just reply with a cool, unbothered, no worries, and go right back to focusing on your life. Her actions provide all the clarity you need. Section 7. Your willingness to walk away. This is the ultimate position of power. You must be genuinely willing to lose her, and this cannot be a bluff. You have to cultivate a true abundance mindset, which comes from deeply believing that you are the prize and that your life is amazing, regardless of any one woman's participation in it. When you operate from this place, you stop fearing loss. You can give her space without being consumed by anxiety, because you know that if she chooses not to come back, you will be perfectly fine. You will continue on your mission, you will improve yourself, and you will attract another amazing woman into your life. This energy is palpable. A woman can feel when a man is truly okay with losing her, and paradoxically, it makes her not want to lose him. Your willingness to walk away is what makes her want to stay. So if you've given her space, focused on yourself, and sent that feeler text that got a lukewarm response, you must have the strength to gently and quietly walk away. Stop initiating contact. Let her go in your mind. More often than not, when a woman with genuine interest feels your energy completely withdraw, not out of anger, but out of self-respect, it is the most powerful wake-up call she can possibly receive. So, we come full circle. That confusing, anxiety-inducing pull-away is rarely the simple rejection it appears to be. It's a complex, subconscious dance of fear, testing, and emotional overwhelm. It can be a sign that her feelings for you have reached a critical point, forcing her to retreat to safety just to process them. It's an unconscious test of your emotional strength and an invitation for you to be the calm, centered, masculine rock she's hoping to find. Now, just remember, if this becomes a constant, repeated pattern of pulling away and coming back, that can be a sign of a toxic dynamic that you should be wary of. But for navigating that initial pullback, the path forward isn't to chase, panic, or demand answers. It's to do the exact opposite of what your fear is screaming at you to do. Remain calm, give her space, and most importantly, turn your focus with relentless intensity back to your own mission, your own growth, and your own life. Your value is not determined by her attention. It is forged in your purpose. By understanding her psychology and mastering your own emotional response, you transform this moment of crisis into an opportunity. You demonstrate the very qualities that are most deeply attractive: confidence, self-respect, and unshakable emotional stability. You don't win her back by chasing her down. You draw her back by becoming a man she can't imagine losing. You become the lighthouse in her storm. And whether she decides to navigate her way back to your shore or not, you remain standing, stronger, more centered, and more focused than ever before. Either way, you win. Look, if this cleared things up for you and gave you some real value, do me a favor and hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next conversation. And I really want to hear from you in the comments. Have you experienced this pull-away dynamic? And how did you handle it? Let's share our experiences and learn from each other. Remember, your strength is not in holding on tighter. It's in your ability to let go with confidence.